New York City. The place that never slows down, never stops, never quiets. A city of noise and ambition, of dreams and heartbreak, of millions of stories stacked on top of each other like the windows in its towering buildings. But hidden beneath the sirens, the subway rumble, the neon lights, and the endless movement, there is a softer story. A quieter presence. A light that most people walk past every single day without ever realizing it's there. This is the story of how Islam is transforming New York, not loudly, not forcefully, but gently, steadily through the lives of ordinary people, shaping an extraordinary city. Because if you look closely, you'll see it everywhere. You'll see it in the small halal shops where families gather after sunset, the laughter spilling into the street like the smell of warm bread. You'll see it in the yellow taxi drivers whispering their evening prayers in the few minutes between passengers. You'll see it in the young student reading Quran on the steps of a Brooklyn brownstone long after midnight. You'll see it in the quiet mosques glowing softly in the heart of Manhattan, hidden between glass skyscrapers. Most New Yorkers don't realize it, but Islam has woven itself into the rhythm of the city, not by changing the city, but by simply blending into it. Like a heartbeat you don't notice until the room becomes silent. In the Bronx you find a mosque that started as a one-bedroom apartment where 10 immigrants would gather after long shifts to pray. Today, kids fill the hallways every evening for after-school programs their parents never had. Homework help, free meals, mentorship, things that go far beyond worship. That little apartment mosque has become a lifeline for hundreds of families in Queens, the most diverse place in America. Islam stands beside more than 100 languages, blending into the cultural tapestry of a neighborhood where every block feels like a different country. At iftar time in Ramadan, the sidewalks glow, lanterns hanging from doors, long tables with rice, meat, desserts, and the kind of generosity that makes strangers feel like family. In Brooklyn, a group of young Muslims started a community project cleaning parks on Sunday mornings. No cameras, no announcements, no recognition. Just quiet service. And people passing by often ask, "Who told you to do this?" The answer is always the same: no one. It's simply part of the faith. And in Manhattan, yes, even in the shining center of the city, you'll find a prayer room hidden inside a commercial building. Office workers slip in during their lunch breaks, whispering prayers while the world outside races by at 1,000 miles an hour. That tiny room, barely big enough for 10 people, feels like an island of peace in an ocean of chaos. Islam in New York isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It doesn't try to stand out. It simply becomes part of the landscape, like the hum of the train, the glow of Times Square, the sound of footsteps echoing down a late-night street. And maybe that's why its impact is so powerful. Because while New York is known for ambition, competition, and non-stop motion, the presence of Islam brings something else into the picture: stillness, reflection, community, compassion. A city that never sleeps suddenly finds a moment to breathe. You see it in the way Muslim-owned stores stay open late so people working night shifts can eat. You see it in the way mosques open their doors to the homeless during winter storms. You see it in the way Muslim youth programs help keep kids safe, focused, and hopeful. You see it every time someone stops to hand out water bottles during a heat wave. You see it every time a stranger is treated like a friend, because kindness is woven into the faith. Islam hasn't changed New York by force. It's changed it by presence, by millions of small acts of goodness that stack up quietly over time. It's changed it through the people who carry their faith in their hearts and reflect it in their actions. Through families who hold on to tradition while embracing the future. Through the quiet dignity of prayer, through the beautiful chaos of diversity, through warmth that spreads even in the coldest winter. This city, with its glowing lights and relentless pace, is being shaped in ways most people don't notice. But those who look closely, those who listen, those who care, see something unmistakable. A light. A warmth. A steady, unseen transformation. Because even in the city that never sleeps, faith has found a way to shine. So the next time you walk through New York, whether it's midnight in Times Square or sunrise over the East River, remember, this city is being transformed not only by money, power, or ambition, but by thousands of quiet moments of faith illuminating the darkness. And in those moments lies the true story of New York's spiritual shift. If you felt that, if something in this story touched you, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more, and stay tuned for the next chapter. The story isn't over. It's only getting brighter. The light in New York City has always been a strange thing. It's loud, it's bright, it's relentless. Neon signs flicker through the night. Taxis flash by in streaks of yellow. Skyscrapers glow like beacons that refuse to sleep. But hidden beneath all of that artificial brightness, there is another light. A softer one. A quieter one. A light that doesn't come from electricity or glass or billion-dollar buildings. Because you don't really understand New York until you see it through the eyes of the people who pray here. As the sun sets behind Manhattan, the city seems to speed up. The subways get louder. Offices spill out onto the streets. Delivery workers pedal through traffic like they're racing the world. But then, in the middle of all that chaos, something unexpected happens. A young man steps away from the crowd, walks down a narrow street, and enters a small doorway most people have never noticed. Inside, he finds a quiet carpet, soft lighting, and silence. A moment of peace that no one else even knows exists. This is the part of New York Islam touches, the part hidden behind the noise. In Brooklyn, under the tracks of the elevated train, an older woman unlocks the door to a tiny mosque that was once a tire shop. The floor still has marks from the old machinery, but she smiles every time she sees them. Because those marks remind her where the community began. She flips on the light. She puts out prayer mats. Soon, children begin running in with backpacks, laughing, dropping shoes everywhere. Their parents follow, tired from work but relieved to be here. This is their sanctuary. Their second home. The place where the day finally slows down. New York doesn't know this story. It doesn't see it. It passes by too quickly. Because while the city races on, people inside these mosques are building something different, a rhythm of life that feels almost timeless. And that's the irony. In a city obsessed with speed, it's Islam that teaches people to stop. To breathe. To find stillness. To hold on to their humanity when everything around them tries to steal it. Late at night, when most of the city is still awake, the mosques stay awake too, but for a different reason. A cab driver finishes a 14-hour shift and steps inside to pray before going home. A college student from overseas calls his mother before prayer begins, telling her he misses her but he's okay. A man who came to America alone sits quietly in the corner, whispering supplications that only God will ever hear. And the city outside keeps roaring, never noticing the light glowing softly behind the windows of this tiny building. But if New York could pause for even a moment, it would see something remarkable. Islam isn't transforming New York with noise. It's transforming it with gentleness. With service. With the kind of quiet strength that spreads slowly and subtly until you realize an entire neighborhood has changed without anyone announcing it. A bodega owner who lets customers take food when they can't afford it because Allah will replace it. A landlord who lowers rent for an elderly tenant because kindness is a form of worship. A group of teenagers spending their Saturday giving out hot meals under the Manhattan Bridge. A mosque that gathers donations every winter, handing out coats to anyone who needs them, Muslim or not. A taxi driver who pulls over at sunset, not to rest, but to pray on the sidewalk behind his car. New York calls itself the city that never sleeps. But the truth is, it's also the city that never stops searching for meaning. And in the middle of its constant motion, Islam is quietly offering direction. Not loudly. Not aggressively. Not with spectacle. But with love. Community. Discipline. Generosity. And faith. People think New York is defined by its towering buildings, its money, its ambitions, its sleepless nights. But the real story of this city is found in moments like these, the moments no one records, no one celebrates, no one sees. And that is where the light truly shines. Because this city doesn't only belong to the powerful or the wealthy or the loud. It belongs to the people who carry hope in their hearts. The people who pray in unnoticed rooms. The people who whisper gratitude at dawn. The people who fight to remain human in a place that tries to turn them into machines. Islam's light in New York is not a spotlight. It's a lantern, one that keeps growing, one person, one prayer, one good deed at a time. And if you've watched this far, you already see it more clearly than most.